Welcome to day 22 of our HTML and CSS series. Today, we're building something creative and useful, a blog preview section. This design is perfect for showcasing your latest articles, coding tutorials, or design tips on any website. We'll combine beautiful layout techniques with modern card styling to make our blog section stand out, while keeping it clean, responsive, and easy to customize. Let's start building our blog post section. I'll add a tag with a class called blog section to organize this part. Inside, we'll include a heading that says our latest blog posts and a short paragraph describing what the section is about. Now let's create a div with the class name blog grid. This grid will act as the main container that holds all of our blog preview cards, allowing them to align nicely side by side. Inside this grid, I'll start by adding our first div and give it the class blog card. Each blog card will represent one article preview, keeping the layout clean and consistent. Within this card, I'm adding an image at the top. This helps catch attention visually before any text appears. Then, I'll create another div with the class blog content. Inside that, we'll include the blog title, author name, date, a short paragraph describing the post, and finally, a read more link to make it interactive. Once the first blog card is done, you can easily duplicate it to create more blog previews. Just replace the image, title, date, and text with your real blog post values. Finally, after all the blog cards, I'm adding a simple button that says Learn More, so visitors can navigate to additional content or a full blog page later on. Let's start by styling the body. I'm giving it a deep dark blue background using the hex color number 0F172A. The font family is set to Poppins for a clean, modern look. I'm also setting the text color to white and using Flexbox to center everything both vertically and horizontally. The layout direction is set to column, and I'm adding padding around the page so the content has enough breathing space. Now let's style the section and its headings. I'm setting a maximum width so it doesn't stretch too wide on large screens. The main heading uses a teal accent color to grab attention, with a slightly larger font size and letter spacing for clarity. The paragraph below uses a softer gray tone to keep the focus on the heading and make the text easy to read. Here I'm giving the blog section its own background color using a lighter navy blue. This helps separate it from the main page background. I'm also adding generous padding inside, rounded corners, and a soft shadow underneath to make it look slightly elevated. Next, I'm using CSS Grid to lay out the blog cards. This setup automatically adjusts the number of columns depending on the screen size. I've added spacing between the cards with a 25-pixel gap and some margin at the bottom for extra breathing room. Each blog card has a white background and dark text to keep it readable. I'm adding a small border radius and a soft shadow for depth. When you hover over a card, it lifts slightly with a teal-colored shadow, adding a modern, interactive feel. Now let's add a hover effect to bring our blog cards to life. When a user hovers, the card will gently move upward by 6 pixels and get a teal glow shadow underneath, giving it that nice, floating feel and modern interaction. Next, we'll style the image inside each blog card. Setting the width to 100% makes it span across the card, and the height of 180 pixels keeps everything uniform. The Object Fit property ensures the image nicely fills the space without distortion. Then we add padding inside the blog content and style the title with a dark navy color and a small margin at the bottom for spacing. Now let's move on to styling the text inside our blog card. First, we're targeting the meta section. That's where the author name and date appear. We're giving it a smaller font size of 0.8 rem and a soft gray-blue color. This helps it look subtle and less dominant compared to the title. Next, we'll style the main paragraph. I'm setting the font size to 0.9 rem and using a darker gray tone for good contrast against the white background. This makes the text easier to read and keeps the design clean and professional. Then we'll style our Read More link. I'm removing the underline, giving it a teal color to match our accent theme, and making it bold so it stands out. Finally, when you Now let's move on to styling our button at the bottom of the section, the Learn More button. I'm giving it a linear gradient background, transitioning smoothly from a deep teal to a lighter aqua shade. This creates a clean, modern look that ties in beautifully with our blog's color theme. The text color is set to white for clear readability, and I've added a white border to give it a defined edge. For the sizing, we're adding 14 pixels of padding vertically and 40 pixels horizontally. Lastly, I've added a hover effect. When you hover over the button, it slightly scales up and the opacity lowers a bit, giving it a subtle, animated feel. Finally, I'm adding a simple media query for smaller screens. This reduces the heading size to maintain balance and make sure the design stays readable on mobile devices. And that's it for today's project. A clean and responsive blog post section built with just HTML and CSS. If you enjoyed this tutorial, don't forget to save, like, and follow for more HTML and CSS in action.